Guys, hello everyone. Welcome to our podcast. And today we have a very special guest, the CEO of Aeon Trisl,
Hey.
Mr. Saleem. How are you doing?
Good. How are you?
All good as well. I told you before we start the podcast that I was keep on looking at your company and always was wondering how do you guys manage to do this? You had several awards from all the developers. And the best part of it that you were doing it throughout the year, so it wasn't like one successful year. So it seems like you guys know something. So let's try to dive in your experience and find out some of the things that brought you to this success. But before we start, can you please tell us how did you come to Dubai and how did you start your journey here?
First of all, thank you for having me on the show. Dubai was for me, I came here for studies actually. So I started with doing my bachelor's here at the American University in Dubai.
How was this experience, by the way?
Amazing. At that time, I was from Pakistan at that time, looking to go abroad. And Dubai seemed to be one of the best places to come down here. And so I started having my education here, and I was supposed to go back to Pakistan because we have a background in textiles. So real estate was nowhere close to anything in my career aspirations.
Textiles back then was a booming business. I remember when I was a real estate agent, in the beginning, a lot of my lenders were doing textile business.
Yeah. So we had export business to US, especially to Walmart and Kmart stores, selling them fleece jackets and shorts over the year. So it was always I was studying finance here, and I had to just wrap it up and then go back. But certain things happened. Maybe, when I go back and think in life, dots were meant to be connected in a way that I was meant to stay back here due to certain situation in the family business back home. And so it just happened to be that I had to be here. And then I started looking for getting experience in the field that I had graduated in, which was finance. Mm-hmm. So I started to look for opportunities here, and I started working in an investment bank in DIFC.
Oh, wow.
Which was for a very short period, only 15 days.
Why only 15 days?
No, because the condition was that although we had a situation back home in the family business, but my family was always of the opinion that I should come back. But I wanted to stay here because, of course, when there was a situation, then I could only work freely here. That's what I felt. So the condition was that if I am going to find some opportunity for myself, I would be then send some funds to lease out a apartment for myself. Mm-hmm. Till that time, it was just we'll wait and see. So as soon as I got an opportunity, because I was major finance, did my bachelor's in finance. So the opportunity came from the investment bank, and then the funds came in for me to look for a house. And when I got there, I was asked for a commission. So I asked the guy, "What is that supposed to? Why do I have to pay this? I understand that there is rent and there is a security, but what is this commission part?" Because till that time, I had no idea what the commission and what the real estate business is all about, apart from just managing a little bit of properties of the family while studying. Dubai was a booming market then, but I had no idea. We used to live in the greens in those days, while in university for a brief period, and I would see people queuing up in front of us in the early morning. It was the first building, and there was the Emaar office was there in those days, but we never knew what was happening, to be honest. So when the guy asked me for the commission, I anyways happened to pay him, and then I asked him, if I get you a client, would you be sharing it with me? He said, yeah, as a referral, it could be 30% or 33%, something like that. I said, okay. So that's where it all began. And then I came back to my work and started to post Aeon Trisl.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So, not many people used to use Trisl in those early days, because I think print media was very much active then, especially the newspaper ads and referral and network and connections. So I would be posting a lot of ads onto Brazil online, and that's what I started with basically. And once it started to work for me, so in the next 2 or 3 days, I had my first deal with the guy.
Amazing.
Yeah,
Interesting.
it was only rental. So I remember my first commissions was somewhere around 800 dirhams, rental for a studio. Luckily, where I had started to work, we were like 6 to 8 colleagues from the university, all in the same field of business, same field of work, in the investment bank. So one of the colleagues told me that his friend is seeking to sell one of his units since you started to do this now. So why don't you list this for him as well? And in those days, the Brazil was listing for free. And just I posted the ad, and my very close friend actually, this was a coincidence. So he didn't know it was me, and I didn't know it was him till the time he called me. It was like around 10:30 in the evening, and I picked it up. He's like, "Hello, I'm looking to buy this property, and you've listed it onto Brazil." And I told him, "Didn't you see the number while you were dialing? It's me." And it worked out to be we finalized that deal, and then that was like the first sale deal in the maybe around 15 days, 14 days into the opportunity of investment bank that I had got into. So yeah, that's where it started from.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, and after that, did you join in a company as a real estate agent, or you immediately opened your own?
No, so I did a bit of freelancing, and in those days, because I was just posting the ads for properties available, and at that time Jumeirah Beach Residence was being handed over. So I did a lot of leasing initially.
Which year was it?
This is 2007 summers, after the summers, around September. And then in a few months decided to open up a company, and got together, and around first quarter of 2008 is when the company was formed. I had a few partners with me at that time, but I think 6 to 8 months down the line, the recession had come already.
Yeah. That's why I'm smiling. Yeah. In 2008 to open a company, and then after 6 months.
Yeah, but we did pretty well in the first half of the year. So from the first quarter until the probably end of the second quarter, beginning third quarter, we were fine. And then all of a sudden things then started to work.
Were you focusing mainly on this period in 2008 on sales or rentals?
No, 2008 was all about, initially when I started doing the freelance, I was leasing a lot. But then 2000, I got with those queues and those the projects which were coming in, which were being resold quite. There was a concept of speculation a lot in those days. Yeah. So we would buy and then be able to find buyers for almost.
Okay. So you were putting your own capital.
We had made our money, and then we were putting our own capital and people's capital also, and we sold quite a bit.
And this capital you generated from rent?
No, from rental and from sales.
Amazing.
And then friends came in, family came in, friends came in. Everybody started to trust the market, because it was doing well for the first 6 to 8 months. And then all of a sudden a standstill. I still remember that all of us, part of the business and the friends circle, we were in Malaysia for a vacation, for like a break, and in that 1 week things changed. Wow. Lehman Brothers happened, and it started to look like nobody anticipated it's going to be this bad. But going back in time, what I had seen in tough days in the family business, and all of these things that happened, it just gave me the courage to actually stay back. A lot of people were not keen enough to continue in this field.
Have you lost a lot of money? Did you had a lot of properties under your name during the crisis?
In the crisis, we were blessed to be having with the top developers at that time. So we had the opportunity to adjust in into the ones which were continued to be made, and there were some which were delayed. So we were able to shift our funds. So yeah, we were okay with that point, that at least we had. So that's what defines us today, because we learned in those days that working with the best, working with the top, working with the people who are here to deliver, and then working with one-off or working with developers who don't have enough standing. I'm talking about earlier days. Now, so you can see the regulations are much better, way better, and more things are managed in the right way. So yeah, that was.
What do you think kept you going? Because I know quite a few people who were making a lot of money, everything was going very well, and then when this happened, a lot of them got depressed, and some of them take a break. And by the way, all of them are saying it was a big mistake to take a break and not staying on the market. What made you stay in the game?
So I don't think we had anything to lose. I had nothing to lose at that time. Whatever was made was lost. It was still bits and pieces which we could get together and still save, because as I mentioned to you, that top developers were having those adjustments available at that time. So at least 50% was recovered. Now there was no reason for me to go back. As I mentioned to you earlier, that there was a situation in the family business, and this is what I had got myself into. So I gave it a chance, and as I had previously mentioned, that initially 2007 days JVR was handed over, and I was doing a lot of leasing. 2008 September, October, when this happened, Discovery Garden was being handed over. And a lot of people who had bought somehow got connected, and then we would do the cold callings with people putting their numbers in the
databases.
In the newspapers, direct from owner.
Okay, yeah.
At that time, they would be listing their properties in the newspaper to find people to help them assist in renting or selling. So I did a lot of leasing for a couple of months as I mentioned to you, in that time, and made good money. Which was very good for me to survive a few months comfortably. And then these adjustments started, as I had mentioned earlier. So those adjustments made us start a new trade of business for the next 3 years actually, until 2011, 12, when things started to improve again. And at that time we were as a company also looking to work again with the top developers and the top areas of Dubai, which were JLT, Marina, Palm Springs, Meadows, Greens. So yeah.
Just to touch once again 2008, during those good times, what kind of mistakes you saw that some of the agents are doing when the market is extremely good? If you can point some of them.
In 2008?
Yeah, sometimes agents think that everything will keep on going very, very well. And maybe you have noticed some of the mistakes that agents were doing before the crisis, when everything was going extremely well.
So the mistakes that mostly, I wouldn't say agents, but if you're specifically asking for agents, when they became investors.
When they became investors,
of course, like ourselves, we made some money, and then we thought that we could get into each and every launch, and then because the concept of buying and selling it, once you would walk out, or once you would keep it for like 15-20 days, you would find a buyer, because it was rolling that fast. And you become an investor rather than being a broker, you would always feel the trouble, unless you have the means to pay for the property in full, or at least 60%. People had like 5-10% payment to be made, and the money that they had made, they had put in leverage themselves out massively. So yeah, that was one of the biggest mistakes, I think, at that time, to become an investor rather than continue to be a broker. And I think with the passage of time, I personally and people around me and my colleagues have made them understand this very well, to avoid although we human beings are prone to making mistakes, and I have repeated that 2015, 2018, but gotten to learn the hard way now.
Okay.
Yeah.
And for and the agents, they feel like they have like a hand on the pulse and they can feel the market, and
you cannot. At that time, it was everybody could predict it in a manner which they thought that it's not going to go the other way at all. But now the data is more. You have enough data available. You have enough tools available to analyze, and things are pretty much different from what they were in 2008. So it's a major difference now. We have social media, which gets the information to a human being more faster than those days. So things are way different than what they were in 2008.
Do you remember on which year you got your first award from Emaar?
It was 2013.
13.
Yeah.
Okay. So back then the off-plan wasn't that active as it is right now. Yeah, a lot of companies are specializing only on the off-plan, and in 2013 still it was like a lot of people more focused on the secondary market, if I'm not wrong, right? People were still a little bit scared about it. But can you please explain, how did you start to build this momentum in the market while everybody is still focusing on the secondary, and investors were scared to buy off-plan? I remember those days. I joined the industry in 13.
Okay. So they started again in 2012 actually. Panorama was the first building.
Panorama building.
Yeah, Panorama was the first.
I sold
building.
a lot there.
Yeah.
On the secondary.
So Panorama was the first building which had come out, and you get this feeling that it was very, very correctly priced. I think 690 or 1,000 for a 1-bedroom, payment plan of 4 years to be paid in, and you could not go wrong on those prices in that area. But anyways, the momentum went on, and then they launched Address Boulevard in 2012 September, I believe, August, September, and then things started to actually work in the right direction, because what prices and the way the payments were spread out in that time, although there was no post handover, but it was spread out in a way affordable for people to buy. So like Address Boulevard came, these were all branded residences, and especially Emaar doing it. So it was a great opportunity for people to accept. And when we were focused on that, after a few months, probably 8 or 9 months, people started to get offers to buy, sell the property and make some premium out of it, and which led to our investors coming in and trusting again and buying more and more. So once you get into that momentum, we were not too many of them selling as companies, but yes, we were a few top ones at that time.
I remember once you mentioned the Panorama Address, I remember the madness what was happening on the launch of Mira.
Yeah. You can still find me in the video actually. Yeah.
Yeah, it was,
we were there for like a couple of days.
Yeah, it was crazy. The first townhouses that were sold like for
$1 million dirhams.
$1 million.
Yeah, the catch was 999, 888 was the starting prices. Being the top agency at that time, I think we went in first for a few units, and then we went back into the queue, and it was you can still see on YouTube the videos which are there. It was crazy at that time, and that's where people also got a great opportunity. I think it was Mira, and then it came Burj Vista, and then certain projects in Arabian Ranches. Fountain Views was before Mira. Yeah, and then Burj Vista was there. Then we had Arabian Ranches 2, I think Kaya or I can't remember the name now. But yeah, then it just continued 13 and then 14.
So if we talk about that period of time, that market, by then mainly you were getting clients from the existing databases, right? Or like which sources of leads you were using?
So we had started in 2007, 2008, and then stayed back. So a lot of people we got as a company, and even myself individually, was through that work of credit notes, which was the adjustments that I was talking about in top developers at that time. And
may I ask you to explain quickly what is the credit note, because some agents don't know about it and about the opportunities that were there.
So credit note was that I have purchased something which is, for instance, I've paid out 100,000 in that, and this is a delayed project, and then there's another project which is continuing for the same developer. So what I could find, like what I could get for myself, is that for 100,000 somebody would pay, like say 70, 60, 65, 50, 80, depending on the conditions of the market and the demand and supply of the credit notes available. And then it could be transferred into that person. So anybody having to do a payment would be able to get that credit on a 30, 40, 50% discount. So he would be saving money, and the person who's stuck, who can actually not continue to make the payment or the project is delayed, he had the opportunity to get the funds out. So in that time, we made a lot of clients, and those were investors who were also, some were buyers, some were sellers. Some were looking to buy a credit note, some were looking to sell it. So the sellers were also remained with us, the buyers also remained with us. And then those people have been working with us for this whole 16, 17 years.
Oh, that's amazing.
So in this whole cycle, it's now the third generation. So working with the grandfather and then the son and then his son is something that we are proud of as a company, because people have continued to trust us. And since we've made them work in such an environment that they have made money working with us, so the trust remains, and the referrals came. Then all of these sources that you see, newspaper ads, portal ads, social media started to work at that time a little bit. Google ads were doing. We were not too active that back then, but yeah, the referrals were there. So it was always, we did find our ways to find a client.
Mm-hmm. And mainly it was based on the referral.
It became such a way that somebody bought and then they had a great experience, so they referred, and then we would list a property for selling, and from the portal we would find a buyer for it. We would go and show, and then if that person never got interested in purchasing the said property, he would still become part of the database.
Yeah.
And then we would approach them, because the relationship was very important, which we had initially built at the time of showing them. So it's all about how you cater the agent, as an agent, how do you cater to your customer, how well you're able to, convert the lead into your usage in the best form. So it has happened to be that, persons called me for something very small to buy, ended up buying land from me in the Dubai Hills. So I have many such instances to share.
You have hundreds and hundreds of agents, and maybe thousands were going through you during this long period of time. What do you think are some of the main mistakes that a beginner agent can do when he starts his career?
Having a lot of expectations. That because when you see in such a market where you see agents doing so well, so anybody and everybody tries to enter the industry thinks that this is a very easy business to get into. But if you look at the number of agents that are there today and number of transactions happening every month, you would have for there are certain transactions that are sold directly from developers. So you're left with a very limited number of transactions and a lot of agents. So you have to be on top of your game. Now what they do is that they come in and they imagine that they would find a seller for a villa or a seller for an apartment, and they would find a way to sell it and then make easy money out of it. And that's what the perception has been. What I see and hear from a lot of people, everybody wants to get into real estate. Everybody wants to become a broker, but it's not how it's not that easy. It is not sustainable the way people make those mistakes and thinking that it's very easy to be a broker or continue to be a broker. Yes, you could have those one-off lucky deals, or you could get lucky once or twice, but if you have to be somebody consistently doing well, then there are a lot of back end involved to ensure that you have the commitment, the dedication, the ethics, the honesty, all these factors, a lot of others to ensure that you are able to continue to be a good broker.
And if there is a broker who is an experienced broker who managed to build his database and already is closing quite a lot of deals, what kind of mistakes you see that this group of agents are doing?
The ones who already managed to close deals. And
they are already top agents.
Yeah.
But they're as well making some mistakes, and I'm sure you have noticed some of the things.
So they become laid back. If not laid back, I see them, thinking beyond their thoughts, that they know it all. Because once you've done well, once you've made the money, then you think that you know how market is going to work. You know how, and it's happened not only with, you're asking about people, but it's happened with me individually also, that, once we did reach a certain position or did well, we started to anticipate and speculate market conditions, and a number of times it didn't go in the way we had anticipated. Because you start to think, oh my God, it's gone so much. Now I think it's not going to work. It's not going to. But for the last 4 years, it has just not stopped.
Yeah.
And we were not able to identify the right fundamentals till the last year or so, that why is it still working? Now I feel it's going to keep on working for a number of years, because everything sets out to be in the falling into the right place.
Yeah, I even remember myself, like every December from like 2020, 21, 22, every December thinking it's over.
Yeah, because that was the thought process, not only with us, but with a lot of other stakeholders involved in the industry, thinking that, unexpectedly the way things started to work, and, things started to, prices started to go up, and there were all the reasons, comparing it with any other cosmopolitan place in the world. Or if you compare it, you've got all the factors to make sure that this place is the best place to live in at this point in time in the region. The safety, the security, healthcare, education, comfort, luxury, the best malls, the best airline. I just cannot stop counting. Yeah. The best communities, the best golf courses. It's got everything up to the mark. So there is no reason for it to, yes, there is a reason for it to calm down a bit and stabilize, but there is no reason for any sort of, stop of business or a crash or a huge correction. Little bit correction, stabilization of prices is very important for a healthy market if you look at it globally. Mm-hmm. So in that aspect, if certain things stabilize, certain areas have gone up rapidly, in a short period of time, it has gone up a lot. So if that stabilizes, it's still part of the healthy market cycle, actually.
And based on your observation, what are some of the best ways for the agents to get like high quality leads?
High quality lead?
Yeah.
Portals are the best, I believe, because they are having the most qualified clients, because person going through the process of going on Google, putting on the search on, opening up a portal, getting to an agent to ask about something, that quality lead, it's up to you how qualified you are to continue working with that lead. Mm-hmm. Right? So portals are the best way. Of course, as I mentioned earlier, referrals are it's a much better way than the portals.
Can you give some tips and tricks how an agent can build his referral network?
So to begin with, first you've got to find one client who you have catered and serviced in the best possible manner. You know what agents normally, what I've seen they do is that once they get a lead, they close the lead, and that's it. There's no follow-up. So what I suggest them and I advise them to do is to, as a follow-up, mark, if you sold them something off plan, mark their dates of their next installment. Somebody has paid 20%, then next 10% is due after, say, 4 months or 6 months. Mark it like 60 days, 45 days prior to the date which is due. And then you can give the person a call. There is a high probability that the client would engage with you again to buy something else or refer you to somebody else, because he can see the kind of follow-up and the kind of process that you're following. Similar to that, if you've sold somebody a ready property and his property is rented, you could get in touch with him within 120 or 150 days of his renewal, just as a casual follow-up. Because in a relationship with the client, the connectivity and the follow-up is key. Now, most of the agents, they don't understand this. Having an Excel sheet till today to ensure, yes, we have Salesforce, we have all those best possible softwares to keep us giving the reminders, but your own Excel sheet or a database of your own customers that you build, mentioning who would be a buyer in cash if you have somebody selling at distress. You should always have a list of those buyers.
Amazing.
Yeah. You should have a list of buyers who would be a repeat buyer in off-plan, because there are people who continue to buy since that they've sold something big, and they would be a continued buyer for the next 12 or 24 months. So one separate list of buyers, repeat buyers in off-plan. One who are ready buyers who are cash friendly, or in terms of, I mean to say, sold assets and have the money available with them at the bank to purchase properties at a distressed price within 48 to 2 to 7 working days. So that kind of investors should be on a separate sheet. Then your regular investors should be on one sheet. So it's something that you should manage it properly. Of course, nobody is perfect. We all need improvement. What I'm saying is I'm trying to do it for myself also. So I'm recommending to all the ones who are listening.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And what is your opinion? And I'm sure you have good data on this based on your agents. What about the leads from the social media? Would you advise them to invest their time over there, or better to focus on the database?
So social media, it's got a mixed response. And we have agents in my company who have gotten lucky. Early part of the year, one of my agencies sold a big villa in Majid Al Futtaim, Lanai Island, from a social media lead.
Amazing.
Continued to sell to the same customer.
It's like 80 million, right?
104.
104. Mm-hmm.
It was one of the highest valued ones at that time. Continued to sell to the same customer a bulk deal in Dubai Creek Harbor, I think 40 plus units. So sometimes they do work. It's just, again, as I said, it's about the follow-up. So social media leads can be very tricky as well as very lucky.
So if somebody just joined the company, because agents are right now a little bit confused. Everybody from every corner is telling them, do the social media, do the social media, do the social media. And they don't know what to do. To try to work with maybe some old leads, to give them a calls, or to go and invest time over there. How would you recommend them to spend their time?
If you are wanting to become an agent, the first thing you should do is you should have listings. If you don't have listings, then you can't survive on social media leads or can't survive on selling off plan. Listings are the key part of any agent. I have listings. I have listed like probably around, I think, maybe 20 or 21 listings as of today, which would be online on the portals. So listings are the most important aspect of one being an agent, whether it is sales, whether it is rental, depending on what category you want to focus on.
Even for the off plan.
So to begin with, off plan is not the purpose of real estate career. If you're pursuing a real estate career, the important aspect is to have listings, whether it is ready or off plan resale.
Got it.
off-plan comes in the third category when you come into the listing. But then people get lucky by working on off-plan leads from social media.
Yeah.
So first and foremost, have the listings in place. You would start getting yourself busy with the people interested to either buy or rent your property, whatever you have on to the table. Learn the product of certain developers. You cannot work on all developers as a human being. So focus and specialize. So for example, say Emaar. Emaar itself is so big in terms of the communities that they have, like Dubai Hills, Dubai Creek, the Rashid Yachts and Marina, Emaar Beachfront, Oasis, Valley, Emaar South. So you got to specialize in working in 2 or 3 of these communities. And then best way to get is either social media or Google Ads, your own Instagram channel, and that's where it can work from, and then referrals and so on and so forth.
And in your opinion, what should be a target for the agent in terms of the number of the listings that he should have?
At least to begin with, and the first, so if you are a fresh agent, at least get 5 quality listings. And that I mean, exclusivity is the key. So if you're targeting 20, non-exclusive is no. If you have 5 exclusive, that means that you're going to hit at least 20% of those listings to be closed in a month, if you have the right exposure. And right exposure is with companies who are willing to spend on these portals. The portals have gotten expensive, by the way.
Very expensive.
Yeah, but yes, if you have the right exposure, you have exclusive listings, and that's at least 5 listings, good listings on hand, and then as much as you can.
How would you? What kind of script would you advise to use for the agent who wants to get a unit exclusively, but by some reason the owner is not really open for it?
So he has to be in a place where he is able to communicate to the customer why he needs the unit exclusive. The number one factor could be the brand that he's associated with. Today there are a lot of top companies here around us which are doing pretty well. Then the exposure that you have. So the online portal which companies take have a lot of different ways of advertising, premium ads, feature ads. So if you can take the unit exclusive on the basis of these concepts that are available to be for your property for the customer's property to be advertised, it just helps in making a conversation with the person. If you go just list it with me and we are going to use these, no, we are going to use the portal and we are going to feature your ad, or maybe make it premium, or have a social media campaign done on it, or circulate to the great network of agents that we work with. Along with the fact, it depends, like for us, we are almost globally around 200 plus agents in my company. So the network is quite big for us to bring those exclusive inventories to our team.
Yeah, you mentioned internationally. I know that you have few offices in Pakistan and one office in London,
Yeah.
right? Do they cater to the Dubai market, or you do business in London and in Pakistan selling the local properties there?
London specifically, we are just catering to the Dubai market. We even have master plans of the Dubai Creek Harbour. We have the Safa 1 model of the Mark. We have a couple of other developers project kept in our office there. So it's specifically catering to the selling Dubai, Abu Dhabi, Ras Al Khaimah, Sharjah, whatever is available to be sold as a freehold basis to customers there. Pakistan, on the other hand, we were focusing to sell locally, but lately we're just showcasing Dubai there.
The last question. Dubai is an international market, and there are a lot of customers that's coming from different different parts of the world. Yeah, where do you see a big inflow of investors that will be considering Dubai in the next 1 or 2 years?
Which area in particular?
No, from which country the investors will keep on coming here?
I think from everywhere. If you've seen the growth of Dubai in the last 4 years or so after post-COVID, you've seen people coming from all parts of the world buying here. Yes, the momentum is much higher from the Chinese or the British or the Russians or the Asians like India and Pakistan. The momentum shifts at times. So like in the early part of the year, we were talking about that Chinese is buying a lot. This is the year of dragon for them. I think the 2024, it turns out to be 8. So that's how. So initial year began with that. Then we heard that a lot of Germans are coming in. They are buying. So it will be an attraction for everybody. It caters to all kind of asset classes. So from somebody wanting to buy for a couple of $100,000 going up to a couple of hundred or probably more than a couple of 100 million dirhams properties available. So you would see the flow coming in from everywhere. Yes, but it depends on the current momentum. Certain people from Europe have been very active lately. British buyers have been active very, very active. So yeah, that
I start seeing a lot of interest from US.
Yeah, I've heard that too.
And looks like we will have more and more people coming from there.
Yeah, I have seen that too. And actually, just before coming here, sold a unit in Dubai Creek to one of the guys. And I've never met the guy. It's just a referral again. And because I'd catered in the past, so it just happened to be, and just converted a sale there. So yes, people from US, Canada, especially, I've done shows as a company there in Canada, and we've seen a lot of interest. We've seen closings happening, and that's the beauty of sales here, that you are able to go on road shows and go to different countries. Like we've been to Canada, we've been to India, we've been to Kenya, we've been to Tashkent, we've been to London is home for us. So we do shows regularly and sell regularly from there, from Birmingham. It's just that people trust the system, and the system are so easy compared to buying property anywhere else in the world.
Oh yeah, but sometimes it takes months.
It takes So the London office that I had secured as a company, the process took us like 3 to 4 months to complete. And when I had gone for the viewing, it was a coincidence, although that I just found that there was a board and I decided to have a look and got hold of the property. So I told the person that how it happens here, that if you go and see a property here, you like it, you say, you want to come visit the office and pay the security deposit to book it, right? And hold it. They said, no, there's a process. And that process took a couple of months compared to, you can actually move into a property here in less than a couple of weeks. So it's a big difference, and very, very, ease of doing the business in real estate or any other way, any other business that you get into, very, very fast than any other market in the world.
Yeah, this is a true benefit that we have over here. Yeah. Saleem, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you
there are a lot of things that we can discuss. Unfortunately, we are short this time, but we'll be happy to see you once again where we can discuss a little bit more some strategies and some other things and your vision about the market, projects, areas, etc., etc., etc. So many things to talk about. And thank you once again for
Looking
passing by.
Forward.
It was a pleasure.
Thank you. Likewise. Thank you.